I would suggest that any time there is a visible presence of God in the Old Testament, often referred to as the angel of the Lord, but there are even some other more broadly speak of as theophanies that are not explicitly referred to as the angel of the Lord. Any of those are the divine word, because again, the divine word is the revelation of God. Any visible representation of God is the divine word. Well, first of all, the angel of the Lord is often explicitly referred to as Yahweh, or referred to as God, Elohim, or El. For instance, when Hagar flees from the harsh treatment of Sarah, Moses tells us that the angel of the Lord found her by the spring of water in the wilderness. But then in verse 13, Moses specifically refers to the angel by simply referring to the angel as Yahweh. So she called the name of Yahweh who spoke to her, "You are the God of Satan." I would suggest that if the angel of the Lord is Yahweh, then it is the divine word. Hagar encounters this angel once again, but in this case, Hagar cries out to God to help her and her dying son, and Moses says that Elohim heard the voice of the boy, and the angel of God called to Hagar from heaven and said to her. So again, equating Elohim, God, with the angel of Elohim. When in chapter 22, Abraham raises the knife to kill Isaac, we find that the angel of the Lord called to him from heaven. Abraham says, "Here am I." And then in verse 12, he says, "Do not lay hand on the boy or do anything to him, for now I know that you fear God," Elohim here, seeing that you have not withheld your son, your only son. So a few verses later, called Abraham a second time from heaven and said, "By myself I have sworn, declares Yahweh." We could look at many examples. I mean, Jacob in chapter 32 wrestles with the angel of the Lord, and then he asks, "What is your name?" And the angel says, "Why do you ask by name?" And then what does Joseph call the place? He calls it Aniol, for I have seen God face to face. When Jacob prays a blessing for Ephraim and Manasseh, he blesses Joseph and said, "The God before whom my fathers Abraham and Isaac walked, the God who has been my shepherd all my life long to this day, the angel who has redeemed me from all evil, bless the boys." So in there, even Jacob is thinking back to the time where he was blessed by and guided by the angel of the Lord, even refers to him to the angel, but clearly is equating him to God himself. The angel of the Lord is who appears in the burning bush. And when Moses turns aside, we find in Exodus 3:2, when Yahweh saw that he turned aside to look, Elohim called to him from the midst of the book. So that's the first reason I would argue that the angel of the Lord is a Christophany, is the presence of God himself manifested through the divine word, which is always true in Scripture.